Hey guys, so I know I've made several videos about the Jewish people of India, but this is really interesting for me. So today we're gonna watch a video about the synagogues. And again, I know I already made a video or several videos about that, but this is a subject that I feel I should educate myself like a lot about. So if you wanna also educate yourself or try to see if you can see something that looks familiar, keep watching.
When I was a graduate student studying architecture at Harvard, I came across in the library a small book on synagogues, and it listed countries where synagogues existed, and India was on the list, and it was new to me. So even though it was several years before I did anything with that information, it just sort of compelled me to pursue synagogues of India, and it's become something that I continue to do many decades later. It just sort of it intrigued me, and when I discovered it, and so it's become very much a part of my life. So the process has been a long one. I mean, there's so many stories involved. It's quite compelling to know that India is home to over 40 synagogues. Not all of them are necessarily fully functioning, but it's a very rich and dynamic community, and I've just sort of set out to present that to people so that they realize that India is home to these communities of Jews, five or just six distinct communities of Jews, and they've built synagogues that are all over the country from different periods, from different times and different locations, and it's an incredible story of Jewish history.
Well, I know that when Modi did come here to Israel and I was covering his visit, the Jewish community here that had come from India were so excited. And then I noticed when I was looking through this book, the picture of this book actually being presented to Modi. And Marion, you were in that picture. What was that moment like?
Yes, that was a very exciting moment. Modi was very interested in hearing about the history of the Jews in India and how long they had been there, what kind of professions they were working in, which communities they were in.
I love how Modi actually
later, when he gave a speech at the convention center, he went into great detail about the contributions that Jews in India had made to India.
This is, when people think about the Jews of India, they think of Cochin, I think, that old community which played a role in the spice trade back so many hundreds of years ago. But tell us a little bit more about this community.
I know this is a big community.
Well, I mean, there are 6 distinct communities of Jews in India, and the Kochini Jews are one of the oldest and probably the most known. But they're the Baghdadi Jews, they're the B'nai Israel Jews, they're the B'nai Menashe, the B'nai Ephraim, the Shavei Israel. So there are various communities of Jews that are in India, and 5 of the 6 have built synagogues throughout the country. The oldest and perhaps the most sort of unique and distinct are the synagogues in Cochin, because earlier synagogues were built during the medieval period, but the oldest standing synagogue dates from the mid-16th century, and they're buildings that blend sort of regional and local sort of building traditions and styles with influences of the Portuguese and other European colonialists. They were inspired by the climate, by the environment, by the landscape, and so they really are special synagogues in so many ways for sort of taking local influences and blending them with unique Jewish liturgical sort of influences to create special synagogues.
Jews have had a knack for doing that over some influences of
Exactly, and there's even some influences of Hindu architecture. Well, I mean, it can go on and on, but they're very special buildings in that they represent as much Jewish
synagogue
interest
with
as well as
Hindu,
local interest in when it came to building
combined
these
together.
synagogues. And they're
Hinduism
very well
combined
known
together.
and rightfully so.
Jay, we just have a few seconds left, but tell me how many Jews are actually living in India today? How big is the community?
Well, you hear 4,000 to 5,000, somewhere in that range. And the community is small. I mean, it is down from its height in the mid-50s when many began to leave, mostly for Israel. But even though it's small, compared to even when I first started visiting 3 decades ago, they've sort of rallied. And in recent years, they've come to realize that they are a small community and sometimes challenged by numbers or by other factors, but they've come to sort of appreciate the synagogues. There have been a number of recent sort of incredible synagogue restorations in the last couple years to bring these buildings back to sort of beautiful condition. And so I think even compared to a few years ago, and even though they may be smaller than a few years ago, they're more organized and more sort of into their sort of history and into their past. And that includes their sort of respect for these synagogues as landmarks and taking care of them more, restoring them either through private or government efforts. And so the story is a very good one today, and it's a very positive one, even compared to when I started, in the 90s. And so I feel wonderful about that. And the book includes some of these synagogue restorations and how the communities now are maybe smaller but more organized and more energetic and more and more involved.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see a person from India, an Indian Israeli person, an Indian Jewish person, talking about this situation, because this is really interesting, and I absolutely love the fact that people are taking care of this. I know I'm also not, like, my family is not from India, but this is still very interesting for me. But I love to hear the story of the actual people who live in there, who live there, who used to live there, that their family is living there. I believe this stuff like this, books like this that actually making people do the research and learning about what happened to our brothers and sisters in different places in the world, it is very important. A lot of people are asking me in my previous Jewish in India videos, they asked me why are the Jewish people are leaving India. I'm trying to explain that this is not something against India. India is the only place in the world, like, think about it, India is the only place in the entire world that Jewish people did not have to suffer from anti-Semitism, have to suffer from hate, from just like all the terrible things we've been suffering. Think about it this way. There is a prophecy that all the children of Jacob, the 12 tribes, will come home to where this is today, modern day Israel. And yeah, this is a really important thing. And I know a lot of people are upset because, like, a major community is leaving your country just to go to a different country. But in those synagogues, what they are praying for, if you're gonna open the Siddur, the book that, like, our praying book, you can see a lot of text talking about going back home, going back to the Holy Land, to modern day Israel. And if you just, like, keep going to the synagogue and saying again and again and praying again and again to go back home, and you're not actually doing anything about it, I mean, what's the point of even praying? I know this is hard, I know this is difficult, but this is a part of a prophecy that is happening right now. The 12 tribes are coming home, and as much as I love India, and you can see that the Israeli people love India, people who does not have any Indian, like, any Indian part in them are going to visit India, or going to learn about the history, about the culture of India. You can see a lot of Israelis in the street. I'm not sure if right now. I really hope the COVID-19 and all the situation there is going to be better, and I really hope you guys are going to be better. But like, I really hope everything will be better and you're going to be healthy and everything. But you can see that the Jewish people have not forgot India, and we still have a lot of respect for you guys, even if we're not the one who had the chance of escaping to your country. We still like have a lot of respect for you for taking care of our brothers and sisters, and this is amazing. This is one of the reasons India and the Indian people, not just, you know, India as a country, just like actually the people who are born and raised, are so amazing. And this is why this is something that is really important for me to educate myself about it, to talk about it, to share the knowledge, to hear your thoughts about it, because I love to learn what you guys today thinking about all of this. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.